3, and she says, Assalamu alaikum. What was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's thoughts, visions for the future of our nation and people, and what parts have been already fulfilled?
Well, it's in the book. His vision for us. The programs and positions are in the book. It's on the back page of the paper. What the Muslims want, what the Muslims believe. So I don't know where the confusion is about what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted. He made it very clear. He showed us what he wanted because he built it over 40 years. He showed us what he wanted. He wanted us to have housing. He wanted us to have good food. He wanted to have independent education. He wanted us to have factories. He wanted to have us warehouse. He wanted us in international trade and commerce. He showed us what he wanted. He didn't just tell us, he showed us. So we're in the position of not having to invent or reinvent the wheel. All we have to do is duplicate what he did. So how much of what he did are we doing? And I would say very little. And so we just need to up our game and take a closer inventory and take a closer look at what he actually did. And I would just say that's the importance of the report from the National Secretary from Savior's Day 1974, because that gives a list of his accomplishments. So we could just list that out. See, all of the items mentioned by Abbas Rasul that were the accomplishments of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then we can put a checklist between against all of the ones that we have duplicated since that time. So if there's 100 things on the list and we're doing 20 of them, well, then we know that we get a grade of 20%. If we're doing 80 out of the 100 things, then we get a grade of 80%. If we're doing 100% of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing, we get a grade of 100%, A plus. We pass with flying colors. So I think we ought to do that, and I think we would be perhaps shocked to find that we're probably doing less than 10% of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing. And so if we got a grade today, we would get a 10%. That's a F, that's a fail. You see, back in the days, if you messed up in the Nation of Islam, they put you in class F. And some people asked, well, what does the F stand for? And they said fire. Because if you stay in class F long enough, you're going to be in the fire of hell. Yeah. So right now, if you ask my opinion, if we're doing less than 10% of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was showing us that we should do as a people, if we want to be free, justified, and equal, if we're doing less than 10% of that, then that's the condition of the nation that has the Honorable Elijah Muhammad displeased with Minister Farrakhan, because the condition of the nation is we're in F class. And if the entire nation stays in F class long enough, then the entire nation will be in the fire. So I would advise us to get up out of F class. What put us in F class in the first place? Stop doing that. Stop sinning. Stop being corrupt. Stop lying. Stop stealing. Stop murdering the spirit of people. Stop backbiting. And I got in on the conversation, and then I could hear you, but I couldn't be heard, so I had to go back out and come back in. And you were talking about the interpretation of the Bible and the Quran. Well, here it is. It starts on page 349 to 355. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives you the complete interpretation of the Bible and the Holy Quran. You don't have to wonder about what he said about this or that. This is your protection against the poison that's in the Bible. There's truth in the Bible, but it's mixed up with poison. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, being the master spiritual physician that he is, he separated the good from the bad. That's what he did. Didn't you hear that about a man coming going to separate the wheat from the chaff, the wheat from the goats? Yes, well, he separated the truth from the falsehood. So you don't have to put down your Bible. Just read the verses that he says are safe for you to read.
Yes, right.
And he does the same with the Quran. He points out the verses in the Quran that will help you to be resurrected. Now, why did he pick out these verses? Not only that they're safe, but they're mission oriented. See, there's a whole lot of stuff in the Bible that has nothing to do with you and me. There's nice stories, but what does it have to do with you and me? And our resurrection, our rise. It may not have anything to do with us. So he picks out the verses, and this is specifically for his ministers. You preach from these verses because these are the verses that are going to help the rise of our people. It doesn't mean there aren't other verses there too, but they're not going to help you. It'll help confuse you. So pick out these verses and preach from these verses, and this will help with the resurrection. That's what this is all about in the first place. We're not trying to show off and see how much we know in the Bible and the Quran, in competition with other people, ego tripping. We're trying to bring about a change, the resurrection of our people. So what are you saying that is corresponding to the intention of that mission? If you're saying something that does not correspond to achieving the goal of resurrection, then why are you saying it?
That's right.
You're off mission. There's a whole lot of things I could say, but it wouldn't be relevant to what we're trying to do.
That's right.
So why say it? Just because I know it.
Beautiful, Doc. Beautiful. I'm just going to add on to him. Why are we in hell? Because Allah said, you'll get all except my purified ones. I'm going to burn your nation.
Yeah.
With your minister. I'll burn you to the crisp. And then comes Alim Muhammad and the prayer and fasting family and Doc on deck and people coming out. Got other ministers calling me, telling me they sick of this crap. Did you hear what I just said?
Go ahead, man.
You don't want to hear me, yo. You're lucky they be telling me, no, don't say me, don't say me. I said, I know you got the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz. They're having their heads up. They don't like it, brother. They smart people. These ain't no dummies. I don't know what you think about these ministers. They not no dummies, brother. Demetric ain't no dummy.
Come on, man.
Wesley is not a dummy, bro.
That's right.
The principal Abdul is not a dummy, bro. These are very, very could run the nation type brothers. They could actually run it. They can actually be a pivotal point, a pillar in building this thing all the way up. They got it, but you got to burn. Allah said you got to burn. In the Holy Quran, it says hell is meant for purification.
Come on.
Did you hear me? He says hell is your mullah, your patron. It's your friend. He said it's your mother in Surah 101.9. So what we're in, like the minister said, America must burn. Yeah, it does. And we got a 501c3 with it. So if it burns, we burn with it. So everything got to burn. So,
come on, man.
And there's not no luck, chance, or coincidence. We sin like we breathe because we live in the habitation of devils. You cannot, if you live in a house full of fleas, I don't care how you sleep, on your back, stomach, or side.
You gonna come up with fleas.
On you.
Come on, man.
You don't get bed bugs, I don't care what you do, how you wrap up in your covers.
You're going to be itching and scratching.
You're going to go to scratching. Say, you dirty dog, you got to me. Yeah, it's going to happen. So, yeah, what you see us doing, Doc, breaking down the Quran, I got that from the back of the message of the black man, like he just said. I actually gave them a copy of the whole, I printed it out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And gave it to everybody on how I got like this.
Now, Chief, see, that's a good idea, and it's not a new idea. One of the things that the commission recommended was to take that section, a message to the black man, research and find all of those verses that are recommended for us to read and teach from, and publish that as a book for the ministers or people who want to really study the teachings, the core teachings. You see, that would be a nice little thin book that would have the verses of the Bible, verses of the Quran, that are safe for us to use and recommended by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You see, and then that little book would be available, and it would be a source of income for prayer and fasting.
Yeah.
See, lay down your buckets where you are. You did the work. Now you got to get the value of what you did.
That's right. And you know the good thing about this, Doc, in 1993, we had this in a book.
Okay.
In prison. In prison.
I'm not surprised.
Put it like this. I studied it for 3 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I never knew that it was in the back of the Message to the Black Man. I studied the book for 3 years and was proficient, and I thought the guy who gave it to me was the genius sent from God, and he was. His name was Ansar, so-called Scott, not Brian. Brian learned.
Yes, Scott. Yes, Scott.
Scott gave it to me. So out of Oakland, California. But one day I was going through my Message to Black Man because I never go into the other stuff unless I'm doing the index and stuff. So one day I was reading the Message to the Black Man. I got to the back and I just kept going and just sightseeing, window shopping, and then I got to Holy Quran breakdown, Bible breakdown. I was like, what's this?
Yes, it's all there.
But I'm 3 years in. I'm 3 years in with the book. I don't know nothing about this. I'm thinking that these brothers are just wizards.
Yeah, well, they are. They were smart enough to do that.
I ran out the room, right down the hall to when the FOI room and boom, 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 boom. And went in. Yeah, what's going on? He thought it was a riot or something. I'm getting jumped or fighting somebody. I said, brother, do you know this Quranic breakdown that we got in this book right here that we put together, that somebody put together? It's in the back of the Message to the Black Man. And he didn't even know. He was like, what? I said, look. And we went through it. He said, oh my God, the message is the message that he brings.
That's right.
These brothers took this from the message.
That's right. Where else you gonna get it?
They thought that I probably would have known.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what happened, Doc. And that's how I'm able to break it down. And that is one day, Doc, around about 4 or 5 years ago, we were reading the Holy Quran. But it wasn't us. We would go to other different sites. And so one day, I think it was me and you, Arlisha. I was on the phone with him, and I was like, man, how long are we going to keep reading this Quran? It's been 30 years. Mr. said we ain't produced nothing. I said, we got to break this thing down, because I'm thinking break down like the message. The Holy Quran, because we keep reading it, and we don't get his understanding. What we going to get out of this? Nothing. What we been getting? Nothing. So then I said, call everybody in. Tomorrow we starting to break down. And that was 4 years ago.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir.
All praises be to Allah. See, Allah said, behold, I make all things new.
Yes.
What I did was unorthodox. It was a very unorthodox move because it was an orthodox move. Read the Quran once a day. You read it and you do it for 30 days and God will bless you. This is Christian talk. That's Christian talk. Allah said the word must become flesh and make its dwelling amongst men. I don't give a damn what word you get. If it doesn't become flesh, if it's not circumcised in the heart, then you're just going to be a well-parakeeted young brother who knows how to spell a bunch of scriptures out.
Yes, sir.
That's on the line. Yeah, so anyway, there it goes. I wanted to put that in. I wanted to put that in earlier.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fire, and we in the fire. So, behold.
So let's republish the book.
Yes. Praises be to Allah. We need to get that too, Brother Fatir. You know it. Come on, sister.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 10-4, sir.
Again, these questions are coming from Sister Margie Latif, and the next question she has is, what does the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teach us on how to properly bear witness?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. How to properly bear witness. Well, you bear witness to what you perceive to be the truth. You are not bearing witness when all you're doing is just clapping and saying something out of your mouth just because really in most cases right now in the Nation of Islam, the preacher in the rostrum, he's actually telling you when to applaud. How many times in a speech do you hear people say things like, is that right? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
They're actually asking the audience to bear witness. Wait a minute, if you're the teacher, why are you asking the students if what I'm saying is right? I'm supposed to be the one saying what's right. And then if the audience or someone in the audience believes that what they just heard is right, then you're obligated to bear witness to the truth. But if you're listening to something, hey, and you don't even understand it, how can you bear witness to that which you don't understand? That's the time for you to raise your hand and ask a question, so that you can discover the truth in what was said, so that later on maybe you can bear witness to it. But you don't bear witness to something that you don't understand. Because what would that amount to? You bearing witness to something that you don't even understand? Well, you just told a lie then. You just said something is true, but if somebody questioned you and said, prove that it's true, and you can't prove that it's true, well, then you just lied. Why did you say it was true then? Why did you bear witness to something that you didn't even understand? So, now one other thing I'll add is, you see, we have to arrange, see, when we have meetings like even this online, see, one of the things is we have to have what would be called the order of service. The order of service. See, when you're having a meeting and you're in the mosque, study group, there's an order of service. What happens first? What happens next? What happens next? What's the process? How do these things go? What's the protocol? So then, you see, in a mosque proper, when a speaker is giving a presentation, a khutbah, if you will, and the speaker says something that is relevant, that is, the point, the major point being made, then that speaker has someone, say, you can say his assistant, say in terminology of the Nation of Islam, if the minister makes a great statement, well, then his assistant would say to the audience, takbir.
Yes.
Bringing attention of the audience, something was just said that you need to pay attention to.
That's right.
But it's not proper for the speaker himself to say that.
Right.
See, the speaker needs help. We all need help. We need assistance.
That's right.
So the speaker needs an assistant to say to the audience, do you hear? Did you just hear what was said?
Yes.
You might have been asleep in the back row. You might have missed it. Takbir. Something was said that you need to bear witness to.
Good teaching.
You see, and so that's the protocol. But the basic question was how to bear witness. You only bear witness to that which you yourself know to be the truth. If the speaker says something and it resonates with you, okay, then bear witness to that. But if you're listening to something and it doesn't resonate with you, you don't even understand it, hey, how can you bear witness to that which you don't understand? Don't be a liar. Don't be false. And you see, when you bear false witness, see, that's another way of saying lying.
Yeah.
When you bear false witness, see, now you are actually spoiling the speaker.
Teach, Muhammad.
See, you're ego pumping the speaker. He thinks he's all that now.
Killing them.
Because so many people bore witness, but how much of the witness bearing was false versus true? So a lot of times you pump up your speaker, your minister, you're full of a bunch of false praise.
Yes, sir.
It's not real. It's not true. And that's why the leader later on gets disappointed, because he thinks he's all of that. You made him think he's all of that. And then when he asks you to do something, he finds out, hey, that wasn't all of that. That was just fluff. That was just, for show. There wasn't any substance behind that. See, bearing witness is like when you are the witness on a contract. Somebody has a contract and they sign the contract. It's their contract, but now you're the co-witness. You're the co-signer. You're co-signing onto that contract. That if there was that the major assignee, if he falls down on that contract, now you say I'm gonna pick it up and assume the responsibility of it. See, so if the speaker is speaking something true and you bear witness to it, well, if he falls down and fails to do it, then you have made a commitment, whether you know it or not. I bore witness that that was right. I bore witness that that was true. I bore witness that that is what we need to do. And even if that person doesn't do it, hey, I still bore witness to it, didn't I? So it's on me to do it.
Beautiful, Doc. Beautiful. You know, I've been telling them this for 5 years. You ruin your student ministers. You hollering and screaming, knowing they up there ain't saying nothing. And we constantly going up there, and you walking after it's over. How did I do? You did so good, brother. You did so good, brother. Oh my God, you the coldest soul. You really did it this time, baby. And they ain't brought no guests for the last 16 years. But listen, now we goes to the mosque. I bring about 100-something students. They falling asleep in there, right? I have to do damage control with 100-something students, Doc, when we go outside after a 2-hour speech, and they was tortured the whole time. So because they going to sleep, I'm hollering, that's right, wake them up. That's right, wake them up. You know, and they yeah, you know, I'm doing my job as a nurse. You the doctor up there, I'm your nurse.
Yeah.
Our job is to civilize the uncivilized.
That's right.
That's our duty. So I know there's patience in here. And if you're the doctor operating, I'm your nurse. That's going to be making things happen on the outside. So that's what I'm doing, trying to keep them a little woke so they can catch something. That's why we say, takbir.
Yeah.
Takbir.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Black box.
Yeah.
You know, then people get up. I said, teach hard, teach good, teach right.
Yeah.
You know, and what am I doing? We're orchestrating the resurrection of an uncivilized man.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we're doing. That's why you bear witness like this. But when you up there going crazy, they got so bad, Doc, I had to take them to the gym, do all kinds of stuff, and give them chicken, fries, everything they wanted to eat. I had to give it to them to keep them, because I don't need them leaving the nation, going back to the school, talking about there was a speaker up there that was no good. He was falling asleep. He dogged us there. Don't you ever go back to that place. That place is a funeral. I don't need them doing that, so I got to take them over here, keep them a couple hours away playing basketball, have music going, and make them have a big, good time. That's what children do. Why did it got so bad, Doc, that Minister Ishmael came out. I would never let him talk to him because I would make him better. It got so bad, I said, go tell him yourself. Do you know those children walked up to him, girls and boys, and circled around him and told him in his face, you are boy or me.
No, they didn't.
Word bond to Master Alim Muhammad came July 4th, 1930.
They did.
I was standing there. And then he said, oh, I'm sorry. I had a speech and I didn't, and the next time I'll tailor a speech for you because the youth are coming in. He said, you won't have me in the seats. I'm not coming back. I mean, I'm standing right here. Word bond to Master Alim Muhammad. Because I kept blocking it. I kept telling them, stop talking so long. Stop talking so long. Then he wouldn't stop talking so long. So then I started coming in at 11:15, and the mosque starts at 10. I'm an hour and 15 minutes later. You hear me? I got bus loads coming in. I'll be sitting in the corner somewhere with my buses, talking to them and going crazy with them, waiting for the time. And I'll come over there at 11:15. Why? They're like, brother, you were so late. You were late. I said, I'm going to be late. Because you speak from a podium and go home, eat your dinner. I got to deal with 150 parents' children after you have hit them with a 2-hour speech and they were virgin ears. You didn't make nothing fun for them. You see what I'm saying? But this is how you ruin the leadership. You bearing witness and you're not pulling him to the side, telling him this. And one time I was in office with him just recently, a couple years ago, a few years ago, and I was like, "You need checks and balances, Ishmael." He says, "Celeritas, my security. Celeritas gives me. He checks me on certain things." I looked him up and down. I said, "Who?" Celeritas. I said, "Man, quit playing with me, man. Who is Celeritas? Your security, man. Stop playing with me, man. You need this is what we up against. Nobody checking. That's why the minister had the messenger. He was doing everything right because the messenger was a living being standing over watching. Now he has no one. I am the vicar. I am the star without equal. Who? Allah in the spaceship and messenger up there. Those are my teachers. You can do anything under the sun. And that's what's happening with the brothers in his leadership. They can do anything under the sun because they have nobody to check them, not even the minister.
Well, the truth of it is that every believer has the right to put in check anybody who is wrong. Any believer has the authority to put in check any laborer, any minister, any captain, any secretary who is wrong. All you have to do is, like for example, it happened to me. When I was new in Washington, D.C., and I mishandled a question that somebody asked at the end of the meeting. I had given a lecture on the beauty of brotherhood, and then I handled a brother who asked the question in a kind of a rough manner. So a sister stood up and said, and raised her hand to be recognized. And I understood, hey, that was the MGT from prior to 75. She knows her rights. She's stopping the meeting. And when I recognized her, she said to me, she said, "Brother Minister, you just gave a beautiful lecture on brotherhood, but the way that you just handled that brother in the back, that was anything but brotherly. And I think you owe him an apology." That's what she told me in front of everybody. And when I thought about it, I said, "You know, sister, you're right. I was kind of rough with the brother." And so then I turned to the brother and asked for his apology. And he accepted my apology. Then I turned back to the sister. "Sister, may I continue? I'm the minister." But because she caught me wrong in the public, she momentarily set me down. And before I could get back up and continue, I had to beg her permission. "Sister, may I continue?" Because so suppose the fault that I had committed wasn't just being a little impolite. Suppose I had committed a major flaw, a major sin, a major mistake. And I turned back to her, "May I continue?" She would say, "No, brother minister, you should sit down." Any believer can do that. Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Any believer has the right to sit down somebody that's lying to you.
Trust me.
You don't have to put up with people lying to you, defrauding you, stealing from you. What's wrong with you?
That's right.
Islam was not an invitation to come and be robbed, to be lied to be misled. So if you have studied the lessons and you studied the teachings and you're listening to a man and what he's saying does not correspond in any way to the teachings, you sit him down. That's the filth and the corruption and the poison that's going to contaminate the minds of your children.
Speak that.
I mean, what would you do if you found out that the grocery store was selling poisoned milk and poison this and poison that? Well, you would take that very seriously. You're trying to kill me.
Right.
That's right.
Well, how much more important is it to protect the purity of your soul?
Right.
Would you willingly let somebody, defecate on you?
Come on now.
Urinate on you? See how vulgar that sounds?
Yes, sir.
You cringe just at those words.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even deeper than that when you're talking about spiritual defecation,
Mm.
spiritual urination, being urinated on by a skunk.
Mm, mm, mm.
So then you go away with the stench of the skunk. You're not the skunk, but you carry the stench of the skunk.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon everybody thinks you are the skunk.
Yes, sir.
So we have to protect ourselves, and the only way that you can protect yourself is to have the courage enough to exercise your rights. And that's why you don't know your rights. That's why they didn't teach you what your rights are. So you could be handled like slaves. They have no rights.
That's right. And that's why we're doing what we're doing now. We're setting down every tyrant.
That's right.
We're setting them all. Putting it on social media, holding court in the streets, that you must resign from these positions.
That's right. You're not qualified.
And we're pulling you to a table of reasoning, and that's the olive branch. We're sitting here with a sword dripping with blood already. We've been killing devils before we got here to you. But Allah said, give them the olive branch first and call them to deliberative dialogue. Send them messages so that they can't say it. Put a paper trail together so that when they're on their deathbed with it, you will have a track record of things that you've done, so it won't look like you just doing something that's off the hip.
That's right.
That's what we're doing over here, and we're calling notice. That's why we monitor everything being said to God's people, and we come right behind it and critique it and make sure we take all the pork out of it, because we don't feed our people pork.
That's right.
We feed them veggies. Praise be to Allah. Come on, sis.
Go ahead. That's right, Chief.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes, sir. This next question is Aslam. This is from Sister Mother Ali, and her question is: Assalamu alaikum. In the 1980s, Brother Jabril introduced a study guide prior to 1975. Did you use the study guide, and was there a minister's book? Because my husband was prior to 75, and he came back in the 80s. He was given a minister's book.
Well, I don't know if I can answer that question. There were a lot of study guides introduced by Brother Jabril. And I have all of them somewhere in my garage. Now, whether the one mentioned in the question is probably there, I don't recall it. Now, there have been many, I won't say many, but several so-called ministers' guides. I have one on my shelf. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who authorized it. It's actually not very good. You don't need to read through it. It doesn't help ministers very much. So I think we ought to really get serious about it and take what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said are the qualifications to teach Islam. He said mathematics, medicine, music, and the science of the rainbow. And so we need to have a test or some kind of qualification before someone can be recognized as a minister. I mean, all denominations do that. You can't just call yourself a Baptist minister and jump up and be recognized. You can't just be a Catholic priest just because you say you are. You know,
That's right.
in Islam, you can't just jump in front of people claiming you're an imam and you have no credentials, you don't have no background. Nobody knows where you came from. You see, so we have to get organized, because that's where all these wolves in sheep clothing come from. Here's a wolf out there say, hey, these people don't even check on you. They don't even check on you. Yeah, they check you at the front door to see if you're carrying a physical weapon, but they don't even check on you to see if you have a mental weapon. They don't check on you to see if you have a spiritual weapon. They let anybody say anything. And so if I was a wolf, hey, I would go down to the costume store and get me a sheep outfit and say, hey, I can slaughter all of these sheep one at a time. You know, if I can be the the shepherd over this flock. And I'm a wolf disguised as a sheep. And I eat them one by one. And they're so dumb they don't even notice that I'm eating them one by one.
Lord have mercy. Lord have
Right.
mercy.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. We have another question from Sister Antoinette, and her question is: it appears the deliberative dialogue discussions are leading us to a more action on each person's part. Is that the ultimate goal?
Yes, absolutely. See, the goal of deliberative dialogue is to arrive at a consensus on truth.
Yes.
You go through the deliberative dialogue, until something that was a problem or an issue before becomes resolved. And that's when the light goes on. Everybody says, oh, that's the solution to the problem. And everybody's in agreement that that's the solution to the problem. So with that kind of consensus or agreement on truth, you see, and it's a new truth because the problem never existed before. So then the solution to that problem also never existed before because nobody ever had to solve that problem before. So you've created a new truth and you have a consensus on that truth. Consensus is just another way of saying unity, agreement. So now when everybody is in agreement, well, what was the issue in the first place? It was a problem that needed action, needed attention. So now everybody's in agreement and they take action on it. And with that kind of perfect unity, it's impossible to fail. So that leads to unending success and progress, unlimited progress. That's the definition of the hereafter. Unlimited progress in the future. That's the hereafter. So when we begin, even in the smallest sense, deliberative dialogue where we are, what are we actually doing? We're doing something that is real. It's real. It's not imaginary. It's real, and we're solving a real world problem. It's a real problem. It's not in our head. It's a real problem, and we just solved it. So that problem that used to exist in the world has just disappeared. We vanished it because it was based on falsehood. And truth makes falsehood vanish. So how do we generate the truth that made that particle of falsehood vanish? Through deliberative dialogue. Well, now, if we have eliminated one of the problems that existed in the world, haven't we made the world better? And if one at a time we solve problem after problem after problem, until we really get good at solving problems, then pretty soon all the problems that were plaguing us have vanished. So now you've changed your condition from hell to heaven. So you're exactly right. That agreement on truth, consensus on truth leads to immediate, effective, successful action that resolves a problem and that improves the condition for everybody. So that's exactly the goal of deliberative dialogue, to create heaven while you live.
Beautiful.
You know, Isaiah, I want to show it. I think I will. And I got a video because we don't have no more questions. I got a young 20-year-old Muslim took white folk and made them all join Islam. And if they ain't joined, then somebody tell me they did. I'm gonna show you. Take an audience of 25,000, probably some crazy number. In 5 minutes. Did y'all hear what I just said? He made me want to rejoin.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes,
He
sir.
wanted me to rejoin. But what I wanted to show you is Isaiah, what we're doing right now. Let me pull it up before I pull y'all up. Okay, there you go. Isaiah 59. 59. 14. yeah, there it is. And this is why we doing deliberative dialogue and calling everybody to the table. But believe me, we crack soldiers. We don't bring our stuff we don't hold court in the streets. We hold court amongst ourselves. But when justice, here, number 14, read that, sis.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Number 14. So justice is turned away, and righteousness stands at a distance. For truth has stumbled in the public square, and honesty cannot enter.
Read 15 too.
Truth is missing, and whoever turns from evil becomes prey.
Wow.
Stop right there. Did y'all just hear that?
Yes, sir.
So justice is turned. And what's the number one problem in our nation?
Injustice.
Injustice. So you can find yourself in this book. You just got to have the word become flesh. You don't need to memorize nothing. Because if the word becomes flesh, you can go and look at anything moving and find yourself. Justice is turned away. And righteousness stands at a distance. Did the minister say we sin like we breathe, we sin and we love it? We don't even have a conscience not to sin. Then righteous stands at a distance. For the truth, what is the truth? The sure truth has stumbled in the public square. So where are we holding court? In the public square, in the streets.
Yeah.
You see it? And honesty cannot enter. You can't be honest. You can't have a deliberative dialogue and be honest. So you got to go to the mother planet and meet the messenger. Although you said the messenger's inside of me, and you don't need it. I am the messenger. Minister, I've been dead. But y'all gonna argue on behalf of that, even after he said different. I kissed the dead forehead of the messenger. He's dead. He gone. He laying there. I saw it. And he can't get no word to give you, and ain't gonna get nothing, no vision for you. That comes to all of this 50 years ago.
Yes, sir.
You hear me? It said it stumbled in the street. You hear me? Truth is missing. Did y'all hear me? And whoever turns from evil becomes prey. So if you ain't in the evil camp, then you pray. That big?
Allahu Akbar.
Akbar.
Try to be very bad news.
Yes,
Can y'all see this? Watch the youngster. And I wanted to say something today. Sister Confidence said, who she represents to you. She said, I like listening to the breakdown because the breakdown I could understand it. But when you reading the book, the Bible, the Quran, I really ain't getting it like that. You know, a lot of the youngsters I got a lot of youngsters here that are Sunni Muslims now, but they 19, 20 years old. They still got a little gangbang in them, but they trying to act like Muslims, but they don't know nothing. They're blind, deaf, and dumb Muslims. It's a fad, it's a trend now. They're trending with it. But and they get murdered and everything in their garments. Out here in Chicago, they kill them dead at the place right around the corner in downtown. You see what I'm saying? Kill everybody. They just killing people in garments because God cannot be mocked, y'all. You know,
Yes,
this is a big thing. If you're not praying and fasting, then you ain't gonna materialize no God. You're just gonna be perpetrating fraud and have a house full of sinners.
Yes.
Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so I heard that when y'all asked Confidence that question, she gave me that answer. And then our elder sister said that she likes yesterday she was all breakdown on understanding. Today she feels like I feel the Spirit of God coming out the readers. That is nothing more than the longing for us, for God to come and help us. It's been a long time coming, and I know come. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, it is.
Sam Cook.
Yes,
Come on.
That's nothing more than us coming out of slavery. We still got the longing. It's been a long time coming. We didn't have a monkey. We didn't have no real answers to these devils. We just roll with it, waited on the good ship Jesus. That's why the church got so many people in there, because they still got the long time coming, and I know. That's why when they go to church, they go, I feel the spirit in there. That's the spirit of your ancestors over here in slavery that was waiting on the good ship Jesus to come and get us back across the water. It's a spirit that's alive and well. It's just still in bondage. The scripture says that the angels were held in bondage because of their disobedience to God. Joel. Talk a bit. Now watch our babies, though. Here go the babies who don't know Sam Cook.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Come on, baby boy.
No more questions. Good luck. Thank you so much to Islam. I stand here tonight, inviting you to Islam. Not with force, not with anger, but with truth and peace. A song inviting us to Islam. Listen. Just listen for a moment. I stand here tonight, inviting you to Islam, a faith of mercy meant for every woman and man. Islam means peace, listen to the one above. Allah, our Lord, the source of endless love. We bow in prayer, humble hearts on the ground. 5 times a day where true peace is found. Not for the world to praise what we do, but to remember the one who created me and you. Maybe you heard things that weren't true. Maybe the world confused your view. Maybe the movies painted lies, while truth was hidden from your eyes. Open your heart, come and see. The truth was never far from me. Oh, I dare you to read the Quran. I dare you to understand. Open these pages with an open mind and see the truth inside its lines. I dare you to read the Quran just once, sincerely, if you can. We believe in Jesus, peace be upon his name, born of a miracle, honored the same, mentioned in the Quran again and again, a prophet of God, sent to guide men. We believe in Moses, Abraham too. Every prophet came with a message of truth, and Muhammad knows it, the final one sent to mercy the world, temperament. Oh, Islam is not what you see on the screen, not what the headlines want you to believe. Truth is clear when hearts are sincere, when pride disappears and faith draws near. Open your heart, come and see why this faith means everything to me. Oh, I dare you to read the Quran. I dare you to understand what the rumors on the side. So tonight, I leave you with this. If your heart is searching for truth, just open the Quran and read.
So just hit the button below.
Yeah, that was great. That was one of the
Now I found.
what we just saw. That was one of the do or die points that we recommended to Minister Farrakhan. In other words, what that was about was we were saying that you have to speak the language of the people. And so we're several generations from Master Farad Muhammad, even generations from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so you can't use the old language from the 1950s to reach the generation of today. So one of the do or die points that we gave to the minister is we have to recalibrate the teachings. We have to bring the language up to date. And the only way you can do that is to turn it over to the youth. Old people can't do that. You speak in the old language from generations ago. So turn the teachings over to the young people, let them convert it into rap songs and to music and to all of that and see how effective it is. It's just the same teachings, but because you put it in a new form, a new framework, now it's 10 times more effective as it was before. You know, so again, that's proof that that's what we should still do. Turn it over to the youth. Let the youth teach the youth. You know.
That's right. That's right. That is it right there. Because they don't need no long speeches.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That was a 3 to 5 minute song.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
and it was all white folk. You gotta be, you know how many people going to be getting them a Quran?
Right.
They getting them a Quran, and if they get with anybody that is wrapped up and pious, they all are going to go and be with that person, particularly if they're young and beautiful.
Yeah.
A young and beautiful girl come to you, a little Arab girl, a little beautiful black woman wrapped up, and they walk up on you, 3 Arabs and 3 blacks, and they say, "Hi, sister," and they dress modest to the floor, hijab up. Them people gonna listen to me.
Yes.
I wouldn't care if it was Nicki Minaj.
That's so true.
I wouldn't care if it was Sexy
Alhamdulillah.
Red or anybody else. They
Yeah.
gonna listen, and they're gonna see their beauty, and their nature is gonna come alive.
That's right.
And they're gonna be like, man, and they're gonna get their numbers and sister, we're going to Ramadan this day. I ain't Ramadan in my life before, but do it
That's
today and we'll
right.
eat tonight together.
Yeah.
She's gonna meet with those girls at whatever restaurant, and they gonna be in there, and she gonna birds of a feather flock together. It's easy.
Yeah.
Their nature is Islam.
That's right.
Oh, say that again.
That's their
They-
nature.
Wow, wow.
You know, you don't have to really push them. Look at that audience. They were crying in the audience.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
They were crying from a young boy up there. And he went all through it, the things that he knew that they were probably be argumentative with him about, like Jesus, Moses. He went through Jesus and Moses and all of that and let them know we believe in all of that in the
Yes,
Quran.
sir.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing y'all try to hold over our head, and you don't even go to church at all. You just say you're a Christian just to say it because that's what you grew up under. But that's not what you're about. That's why it's easy. They're easy picking right now. Because there's no one. They did a poll and they said 2% of Christians in the world read the Bible. 2%. That's 350,000 people. 2% read the Bible. You know how easy it is to switch them over? They have nothing that's holding them back but the figment of their imagination that Christianity is the way. That's a figment of imagination. That's no solidarity there. They're not chained to the damn gate like a pit bull. They're free. You can walk away with a pit bull that ain't got no chain on him. He just walking down the street. Hey, baby. He come over there and get right in the car. We drove over. He took it off. Because he's not chained. He don't have that chain mentality. When you chain a pit bull, you come over there, you be running out the yard. But that's the same thing with us as people. We gotta upgrade. Well, I mean, that's what I feel, Doc. What do you think?
Well, I agree. And one of the reasons why long speeches are not necessary now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he had permeated the atmosphere with the truth. See, we should not overlook the obvious facts of nature and of science. That when we articulate the truth, what is that? That's a vibration.
Yes.
that exists in space and time.
Yes.
Yes.
And the vibration of truth, lingers.
Yes.
Even after you can't hear it anymore, that doesn't mean that vibration isn't still there.
Yes.
And it is the vibration of truth that touches our nature, Chief.
Yes.
See, it touches us on the inside, and then we have to submit to it. That's the way we say it. I think a better way, a better word than submit is we accept it. We accept the truth because the truth accepts us. See,
That again,
when,
dog. Say that again. Come on.
when you are of the truth by your very nature and you're living in a world of falsehood, then you know that you are not accepted in this world. That's how we feel. We feel rejected. Why do you feel rejected? Because it is a world based on falsehood. And by nature, you are of the truth. So this world can't accept you, and you can't accept the world. So when you encounter something that is of the truth, like yourself, you can accept it, and it can accept you. And so that's what happens with the propagation of Islam. It doesn't matter that the message was delivered 50 years ago. The power of that message still lingers in the atmosphere. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the day would come where our babies, they breathe Islam with their first breath. It was in the atmosphere that they breathed in. No one had to teach them. They breathed it in because it was already there. Well, who put it there? Master Fawad Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and all of his ministers. They put it in the atmosphere. They put it in the thoughts of millions upon millions of people. And those thought waves, are all over the atmosphere. How many people do you think right now in America are thinking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? How many millions of people right now are thinking about something that was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? How many people are living, say, in their dietary habits? They're actually following dietary habits that are based on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they never even heard of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But yet they're doing something that he taught.
Yes.
So that's why you don't have to teach them for 6 hours. See, back in the 50s, the lectures were 6 hours long. When I came along, the lectures were like 2 and 3 hours long. And so now they're still trying to give 2-hour lectures, 3-hour lectures. No, just get to the point. The people have already inhaled the truth all the days of their life. They just need a little confirmation that what they believe to be true is true. So you have to be the example and the authority of the truth to pronounce the truth so that it can be confirmed within the hearts of the listeners. And then they're ready to go. They don't need 2 hours and 3 hours trying to convince them of what they have already been convinced of since birth. They just need a little guidance and direction. That's all. They just need an organized framework to work out from. That's all they need.
I got, Doc, if while you talking, I'm cooking. So now, I'm going to show you everything this man just said. I'm about to show it to you.
Yes, sir.
On movie clips. Everything you just said about it's in the atmosphere, you finna see it yourself. And I'm gonna let the person you love to listen to, a white man, tell you too. Everything he just said right now. Watch this. I'm gonna start with mother. Because mother is talking about no eye has seen, no ears heard, nor have you seen or conceived what Allah has in store for you. Listen to mother right here. She's gonna give you 60 seconds. And if you ain't on it, you're gonna miss it. 60 seconds. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
60 seconds. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
First, the idea is to clear our mind of everything that has to do with this world. And in clearing the mind of everything that has to do with this world, you will then have to rely upon your own thinking,
Wow.
your own mind, to bring into reality what is inside of you. So he gives us an education on the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, listen now, of gods, not of prophets, but of the gods of the prophets of the past. He builds our minds according to the way gods think and not the way or the thinking of servants, which are the prophets of God. The prophets of the past were inspired and their inspiration was true, but it is limited when God himself takes over the rule of his kingdom.
All right.
Most
Did you just hear Mama?
Loud and
I heard
clear.
Mama now. Now that's
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
boy, yes, we heard
You
Mama.
heard?
Beautiful.
Mama
Love
said,
that
stop
part.
listening to these people.
Say it again.
You want one more again?
One more again.
Say it again, she.
Yeah.
One more again.
One more again.
Yes.
Yeah.
For her.
Okay, here you go. She's not playing.
First, the idea is to clear our mind of everything that has to do with this world. And in clearing the mind of everything that has to do with this world, you will then have to rely upon your own thinking, your own mind, to bring into reality what is inside of you. So he gives us an education on the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, listen now, of gods, not of prophets, but of the gods of the prophets of the past. He builds our minds according to the way gods think and not the way or the thinking of servants, which are the prophets of God. The prophets of the past were inspired and their inspiration was true, but it is limited when God himself takes over the rule of his kingdom. First, the idea is to...
Did you hear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Loud.
Loud and clear.
I love
Oh,
that.
boy.
Beautiful, powerful.
All right. Now, I'm gonna give you this one first, so that you can see. You need to see this first.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. Then I'll go to him, who's pushing the real thing. This is Lucy. If y'all ain't ever seen it, you need to watch Lucy. Lucy is a woman who has 75 to 100% of her brain capacity. She's at 150 degrees. We're under 32 degrees. Now watch Lucy. Watch what Lucy do to these people. Somebody need to mute whoever that is. Do you see this atmosphere? Can y'all see the atmosphere? You see those things in the sky? Those just electricity all over the world. Did you hear me? You
Yes,
know when
sir.
Doc said that you could say something and it'll go into vibration and hit everybody upside the head? Do you see this? This is what's catching everybody. This is how I'm on this laptop with no strings attached, but it's hitting all of these things right here that's making us touch all over the world. I got a laptop, nothing plugged in the wall. How is it working? What you looking at? See, this is how the water goes up it makes clouds, because the sun draws the water up in a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. Do you notice that the naked eye can't detect what she can detect?
Come on.
You can't detect this, but it is there. They don't mean it ain't there because you can't see it. You just ain't got the vision for it. But this woman here has 100 and something degrees of wisdom, and she could see what's happening right now. Watch what she did. Look how he looking at her. Look how he looking at her. Look how he looking at her. A savage. He looking at her like, what the hell is you looking at? First thing. And what are you doing? Watch.
Come on.
No. She just bugged their phones from there. Cause their phones gotta hit the frequency in order for it to work. A cell phone.
Yes, sir.
She popped in, she went into the electricity where their phones is and found their phone number in there and tapped their phone on her radio, on his radio in his car. Do you see the light? Do you see these? Do you see what the gods do? Are you paying attention?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And she find out where he at, and she finna go get him. This is a good movie. If anybody have not seen Lucy, you need to. I'm gonna give you one more, and then I'm going to the man, and that's gonna science this up and tell you what this is. This is her with that power. This is her with the power. That's her. That's nobody. It's the power that's inside of us. You don't get it. Watch it.
Give me the keys.
He's a killer. 60 degrees, that's right. He put a wall there, he couldn't go. 60 degrees. Took their guns from him. 60 degrees. Don't just stand there, go get him, kill him. Ozone layer. Look at the ozone layer, y'all. I can't touch those. You gotta be able to touch them. He just took it from me. Watch it, y'all. Look at him. Stop. Just give it to me. Look at him. He can't move. 60 degrees. Look at 60 degrees.
Open it.
Look at this.
Let's go.
I'm not sure I could be of any help for you.
Watch this.
Yes, you are.
What for?
For cuteness. While I'm putting that work.
A reminder.
A reminder of what she used to be.
Shall we go?
That's just 60 degrees out of 360.
Where are we going?
Take the first left.
Okay.
Look, she told the GPS to take it.
Allez, dégagez là! Va par là, on y va! Poussez-vous là! Hey, marche-toi!
Now, pass this. Now let's go here. Now you got that. Let's go here.
How can we trust Juliana Strap? Strap has taken hundreds of thousands from MAGA donors and corporate insiders and gotten a boost from a six-figure check from the Broadview ICE contractor. Instead, voters trust Robin.
Did I just kill what I wanted? I hope I didn't. Damn, I did. Did I just kill it? This. All right, y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You saw her doing all this work with 60 degrees. Watch what the brother say.
A pattern right after several global disasters. This was an experiment in which researchers placed dozens of random number generators around the world and analyzed their data to see if they could discover anything about global or collective consciousness. On September 11th, a few hours before the first plane struck,
Global or collective consciousness. You remember when she was dealing with the things and trying to find and tap the man's phone, when she was playing with what we can't see, but she had 60 degrees, so her vision was more permeating, so she could see what the naked eye can normally see. This guy right
Sure.
here wants to see how true that really is. Watch.
this network of random number generators became more coherent. Less random and more coherent.
It may sound bizarre, but Dr. Nelson and his team have been at this for the better part of a decade. The first spike showed up in 1997 with the death of Princess Diana. Other events like the Concorde crash, the Madrid train bombing, and the Pope's funeral all registered on those random number generators. But early on the morning of September 11th, the data went off the charts.
The odds of this being a coincidence is less than 1 in 100 billion.
Did you just hear that?
Yes, sir.
The odds of this being a
Correct.
coincidence is less than 1 in 100 billion. That this ain't happening in real time. He said, ain't nowhere in the world this ain't happening in real time. It is happening. That's what he's saying.
This shows there is a deep relationship between collective consciousness and the physical world.
Sociology studies of meditators where they go into a community, say you have a town of 200,000 people, and they would send in 1% of the population equivalent, 2,000 people, to go into deep meditation. And they found that emergency room visits declined, violent crimes declined, robberies, all kinds of negative behaviors declined, even though those people didn't even know they were in the city, because there is this resonant effect through the force, if you want to look at it that way.
Did you just hear what he said?
Yes, sir.
Did you
Yes,
see
sir.
that woman? Did you see that woman tap these people's phone? Because she could work with, she had the science and the math to deal with the unseen reality of what we see right now. It's all around us right now, but we can't see it physically.
Yes, sir.
This is what he's saying. He said it's a resonant effect going on. I mean, he don't know really the terminology for it that our fathers knew, but he's sitting there saying, man, it's some stuff going on, man.
Kinds of negative behaviors declined, even though those people didn't even know they were in the city, because there is this resonant effect through the force, if you want to look at it that way, through this entangled, interwoven consciousness field. And people who didn't even know these meditators were there became more ordered, more peaceful, more happy, etc., and so on.
This was actually based on studies done in quantum physics in which a container of helium was cooled down to absolute zero. When only 1% of the helium became aligned to coherence, the entire container went through a phase transition, instantly shifting into coherence and taking on almost magical properties, a state called superfluidity.
Do you see that unity right there? Do you see the unity? Anybody there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I see it.
Do y'all see the unity? You see how
Yeah.
he took a chaotic crowd of people that was disunified and cooled them down. What do you mean cooled them down? You took them from an arrogant state, from what Europeans made us, and they cooled us down. You know what cools us down and makes us unify like this? Fasting and praying.
Allah Akbar.
That's the meditation that he's talking about. This is why we cool, calm, and cool and collected. But those who don't fast and pray, look how evil they are. Look how they cuss you out.
Yes, sir.
It's evil because they that high frequency. They're going crazy. But watch this. 1% Remember when I told you it's easy for all of these people to become one with us? Because they don't know, they're not a part of nothing. They just say they're a part of it. Oh, I'm a Muslim. Oh, I'm a Christian. Then the leaders say you sin like you breathe. You sin and you love it. Then 2010 say you flatline. Then the Christians over here, they having heart attacks on the stage, TDJ. Everybody fat, everybody, no more man in the house, all women there. Come on. They easy right now. Because the praying and fasting is germinating through the world. Look at all these people doing stuff. Ooh, Islam. Ooh, everything is Islam now. Everything. It's only a fraction of people. Watch him as he keep going.
So there was this transformation at that 1% point. When a critical mass of people, and whether it's 1% or a fraction of that, depends on the state of consciousness of those who are practicing the meditation or prayer or coherence. But at that point, you can shift an entire civilization. If we all become to are practicing the meditation or prayer or coherence. But at that point, a fraction of that depends on the state of consciousness of those.
Depends on the state of consciousness.
Yeah.
That's what you want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Fasting and prayer put you in a state of consciousness. You cannot fast for 72 hours every week for 6 years. Mm-hmm. That's not real. And then you have thousands of people watching. You got thousands of people doing it. You can't. That's not real. That's something new. Remember, God said, I come and make all things new.
Yes, sir.
Eye has seen, nor have you heard or conceived what I have in store for you. Mm-hmm. It's opening up unseen realities for us.
That's right.
And everyone knows it.
Yeah.
But who cares? Mm-hmm. You just stay to the point and let Allah unfold you. You don't know what it is that he's going to do. He's going to trump everything that came behind us. It's going to get greater than that. Way more. That's how life goes. He's not going to reach back. He's going to do something more modern, more equipped, more resourceful. And we're going to get it. But you got to keep that consciousness going. And it's deliberate. You guys are doing this deliberate. You're not just, this is not a ritualistic thing that you're doing. Ramadan is a ritualistic thing. And we don't even do Ramadan like Ramadaners.
Chief, may I say something? May I say something, please?
Yes, let me land.
Yeah, because I have to go. I have to go in a few minutes. And I wanted to just make a commentary on what you showed.
Yes, sir, definitely. All I want to say is the messenger said, Ramadan is no fast for me and my followers. Now you got to define followers. Come on, Brother Doc. That's what I wanted to say.
So I'm not much one for movies, and I don't necessarily recommend movies. That's what we were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not to invite the devil into our own living room. And that's why it was against the law in the Nation of Islam to go to the movies, because that's a number one mind control trick of the devil. And that's why many of our people are so confused. Even in the Nation of Islam, because the brothers got so engrossed in the Godfather movie series that they lost sight of their Islam. So now in real life, see, we don't have to talk about Lucy. All we have to do is call up Sister Claudette. Remember Sister Claudette, the National Protocol Director?
Yes, sir.
Remember her?
Yeah, I know.
So back in, I'm not sure about the year, I would say in the early 80s when Minister Farrakhan was overseas on his first World Friendship Tour, we didn't know where he was. And we needed to get in contact with him because there was things going on over here that he needed to know about, and we needed his advice. But we didn't know where he was. So what did Sister Claudette do? She went into a state of meditation And she meditated and she came up with the phone number. And so she wrote the phone number down that she got in meditation. And when we called that number, that was the number to the minister's hotel room.
Oh, Akbar, come on.
So what I'm saying is movies are not real. That's make believe. So we need to shy away from the make believe and embrace the real. We have a real Lucy. Her name is Sister Claudette. So somebody needs to interview her and say, Sister Claudette, how did you do that? How did you get the minister's phone number? The second thing I would say, see you looking at Dr. Stephen Greer. Well, he's a great doctor, but his mathematics is a little bit off. He says that if you meditate and you have 1% of the population meditating, that you can do all of these wonderful things. Well, you don't need 1%, Dr. Greer. You need the square root of 1%. What he said about it depends on the spiritual condition of the person. Well, if you're using transcendental meditation, Dr. Greer, you only need the square root of 1% of the population. So then the relevance means that those of us who pray and fast and meditate on the right things, then we have an influence on those who are around us. And even if we're only the square root of 1%, Dr. Greer, then we will be effective. And so I just wanted to bring your attention to the reality as opposed to what sometimes gets presented in movies. And see, Dr. Greer is, I'm trying to be delicate with my language here, but take what he says with a grain of salt. Even though in some cases he sort of points in the right direction, but at the same time, he just gave you some disinformation. It doesn't take 1%. It's the square root of 1%, Dr. Greer. And so that's what we're working on. So let me dismiss myself because I have a busy day today, and I look forward to being with you once again. Tomorrow is the day for the Your Immunity Project, and we're still on the theme, the immunization of a nation. So may Allah bless and keep you and protect you and forgive you and have mercy on you and guide us on the straight path into his paradise. This we ask in the name of Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. In the name of his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir. Thank you.
Salam, sir.
Salam, sir.
You know, Doc, one question before you go.
I'm gone.
Did the messenger say that the white man will be talking about us in his movies, in his books, in his music? He's going to talk all about you. He said, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book.
I don't think he said anything.
I heard the minister tell us, and I see it in the movies. You see?
Well, what I'm saying is he didn't allow us to watch any movies.
At that time.
And I got to go. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir.